unexpected reunion, the Wellington Technologies lobby epitomized minimalist luxury, all sleek lines, white marble, and strategic lighting highlighting innovative prototypes in glass cases. Harrison Wells had designed it to intimidate and impress, ensuring visitors understood his company's prominence before they ever reached the elevator. Today, however, as Olivia Reed crossed that imposing space with measured steps, she felt only cold determination. The Nexus Innovation contract had drawn attention throughout Portland's business community, attention that had inevitably reached Harrison's orbit. "Ms. Reed?" A polished receptionist greeted her. "Mr. Wells is expecting you. Top floor." The elevator ride gave Olivia precious moments to steady her breathing. 4 years had passed since she'd seen Harrison. 4 years of building a life without him, of answering the triplets' increasingly complex questions about their absent father. The doors opened directly into Harrison's office, a power move she recognized immediately. He stood by floor-to-ceiling windows, silhouetted against Portland's skyline, still cutting the same impressive figure in a tailored charcoal suit. "Olivia." He turned, and she saw the first flicker of uncertainty cross his face. "Good." "Harrison." Her voice remained neutral, professional. "Your assistant was quite insistent about this meeting." "You've been difficult to reach." He gestured toward a seating area. "Please." Olivia chose an armchair rather than the sofa, maintaining distance. "I'm running a business and raising 3 children alone. My availability is limited." Harrison flinched slightly at the mention of the children. "The Nexus Innovation Project. I understand congratulations are in order." "Is that why you summoned me? To congratulate me on working with your competitor?" Her eyebrow arched. "Partly." Harrison leaned forward, hands clasped between his knees, a rare, vulnerable posture for him. "Partly to see you. To ask about them." The audacity stole her breath momentarily. "After 4 years of silence, you don't get to ask about them." "I know." His voice softened. "I don't deserve—" "This isn't about what you deserve," Olivia interrupted. "It's about what they deserve. 3 little girls who've never heard their father's voice." Harrison's composed facade cracked. "Girls? I have daughters?" The realization that he knew nothing about his own children, not even their gender, struck Olivia like a physical blow. Sophia, Penelope, and Charlotte. "They're 4 years old. They're brilliant and beautiful and perfect." Harrison reached for his phone, hands slightly unsteady. "May I see them?" Something in his vulnerability, so unlike the calculating businessman who'd left her, made Olivia relent. She opened her gallery app, finding a recent photo of the triplets at the beach, their copper curls flying in the wind, identical grins revealing missing front teeth. Harrison stared at the image, transfixed. "They have your smile," he whispered. "And your eyes," Olivia finished. "And your analytical minds. Charlotte can already do math problems meant for 3rd graders." Pride flashed across Harrison's face before clouding with regret. "I've missed everything." "Yes," Olivia agreed simply. "You have." Silence stretched between them, heavy with unspoken recriminations and questions. "Why did you really call me here, Harrison?" Olivia finally asked. He set down his phone, straightening. "Wellington is developing technology that will revolutionize virtual reality. Nexus is scrambling to compete. Their headquarters redesign isn't about aesthetics. It's about projecting innovation they haven't achieved. So this is about business." Disappointment colored her tone. "I should have known." Not entirely. Harrison stood, pacing. "Seeing your name in the announcement." It felt like fate. "A chance to right wrongs. There are some wrongs too big to right with a single conversation. I don't expect forgiveness." Harrison's gray eyes, so like his daughter's, met hers. "But I'm asking for a chance. To meet them. To be part of their lives in whatever capacity you deem appropriate." Before Olivia could respond, her phone chimed with a school notification. "It's the girls' preschool. I need to go." Harrison nodded, seemingly unsurprised by the interruption parenthood created. "Think about it, please." As the elevator descended, Olivia's composure finally cracked. Harrison wanted to meet the girls, the same girls he'd abandoned before they took their first breaths. The same girls who occasionally asked why other children had daddies while they didn't. She'd prepared for many scenarios upon returning to Portland's business elite. Condescension, dismissal, even hostility. What she hadn't prepared for was the possibility that Harrison Wells, the man who'd chosen his empire over family, might actually want to become a father after all. Part 4. Building Bridges. And this one controls the motor speed, Harrison explained, guiding Charlotte's small hand over the dial of the simplified robotics kit he'd brought. All three girls clustered around the kitchen table of Olivia's comfortable craftsman home, but Charlotte showed particular fascination with the mechanics. "So if I turn it this way?" Charlotte's brow furrowed in concentration as the small robot whirred faster. "Exactly. Right?" Harrison couldn't suppress his smile, still marveling at these incredible children, his daughters, who had existed in the world for 4 years without his knowledge. Across the room, Olivia observed the interaction with guarded eyes. This was the third supervised visit in 2 weeks since their confrontation in his office. Each visit revealed new facets of the girls' personalities: Sophia's natural leadership, Penny's boundless creativity, Charlotte's analytical precision. "My turn," Penny insisted, already reaching for the controls. "5 more minutes for Charlotte, then you can have your turn," Harrison said gently but firmly. Penny's pout dissolved under his attention as he added, "While we wait, would you like to show me those drawings you mentioned?" Penny beamed, racing to retrieve her sketchbook. Harrison had quickly learned that each girl craved individual recognition for their unique interests, a parenting insight that had come naturally to him despite his absence. Later, after the girls had been tucked into bed with promises of another visit soon, Harrison lingered in Olivia's kitchen, helping wash dishes in comfortable silence. "They're remarkable," he finally said, handing her a dripping plate. "You've done an extraordinary job with them." "I had no choice," Olivia replied, though without the bitterness that might have colored such a statement weeks earlier. Harrison set down the dishcloth. "I've been thinking about the Nexus project," Olivia tensed. "Harrison, we agreed. No business discussions during these visits. Just hear me out." He leaned against the counter. "What if Wellington commissioned a complimentary installation? Not competing with Nexus, but showcasing local artists in our spaces, too. It would double the exposure for your artists." Olivia studied him skeptically. "Is this about the girls or about business?" "Both," Harrison admitted candidly. "I want to support what you've built. And yes, I want to be involved in their lives more consistently. A professional relationship gives me legitimate reasons to be present without—" He hesitated. "Without forcing an emotional reconciliation I'm not ready for." Olivia finished for him. Harrison nodded. "Exactly." The proposal made practical sense. Their awkward co-parenting arrangement needed structure, and a professional framework might provide necessary boundaries while allowing Harrison more regular access to the girls. "I'll consider it," Olivia conceded. "But the girls remain my priority. Any sign that you're using them as pawns in your corporate chess match with Nexus, and this arrangement ends." "Understood." Harrison's phone chimed with a message. His expression changed as he read it, tension returning to his shoulders. "I need to go. Wellington's European servers are experiencing security issues." As he gathered his coat, Sophia appeared in the hallway in her astronaut pajamas. "Are you leaving, Mr. Harrison?" The formal address, Olivia's compromise between acknowledging Harrison's presence without confusing the girls about his role, still stung him visibly. "Work emergency," he explained, kneeling to her level. "But I'll be back on Saturday for the Science Museum, remember?" Sophia's sleepy nod was followed by an unexpected hug that left Harrison momentarily speechless. Over the child's head, his eyes met Olivia's, conveying volumes of emotion neither was ready to articulate. In the following weeks, their arrangement evolved into an unexpected rhythm. Harrison attended school performances and doctor appointments. The Wellington Commission progressed alongside the Nexus project, with Olivia navigating the corporate rivalry with diplomatic precision. What neither anticipated was the evening Harrison arrived for his scheduled visit to find Penny with a dangerously high fever. Without hesitation, he drove them to the emergency room. held Olivia's hand through tearful hours of waiting, and used his influence to ensure the best pediatric specialist saw their daughter immediately. Watching Harrison cradle a sleeping Penny in the hospital room, exhaustion and genuine concern etched on his face. Olivia confronted an uncomfortable truth. The man before her was not the same one who had walked away 4 years ago. Something fundamental had shifted, perhaps in him, perhaps in her perception of him. The question remained whether such changes, however genuine, could ever be enough to heal the wounds of abandonment that still lingered beneath their tentative co-parenting peace. The departure. The canvas before Olivia Reed seemed to mirror her life, splashed with vibrant colors yet bordered by uncertainty. Her brush danced across the surface with practiced strokes, capturing the Portland skyline at dawn. The morning light streaming through her studio windows cast a golden glow on her work, highlighting the promise of a new day. "Perfect timing," a deep voice called from behind her. Harrison Wells leaned against the doorframe, his custom suit impeccable despite the early hour. His dark hair was styled with precision, not a strand out of place, much like the empire he'd built from nothing. Olivia smiled, setting down her brush. "You're up early for someone who was on conference calls until midnight. Board meeting in Tokyo. Can't be late." Harrison crossed the room, wrapping his arms around her waist, his cologne enveloping her, though leaving this view is becoming increasingly difficult. His lips found the sensitive spot behind her ear. Their romance had been unexpected, the tech mogul and the bohemian artist, yet somehow perfect in its contradictions. For 8 months, they'd existed in a bubble of passion and possibility, her creativity complementing his structured ambition. "I have something to tell you," Olivia said, turning in his embrace. The expression in her eyes must have given her away, because Harrison's smile faltered. "What is it?" His posture stiffened, shoulders squaring as if preparing for impact, the same stance he adopted before negotiating million-dollar deals. "I'm pregnant," Olivia's voice trembled slightly, "and it's triplets." The silence that followed stretched like an eternity. Harrison's face drained of color, his gray eyes turning stormy. He stepped back, creating a physical gap that felt like a chasm. "Triplets?" he repeated, the word falling from his lips like a foreign concept. "You're certain?" "Dr. Whitman confirmed it yesterday. I wanted to be sure before telling you." Olivia reached for his hand, but he moved further away, pacing the hardwood floor of the loft he'd purchased for her. "This changes everything," Harrison muttered, more to himself than to her. "The expansion into Europe, the merger with Dalton Tech. I can't—" He stopped abruptly, meeting her gaze with a coldness that made her shiver despite the warm spring air. "You can't what?" Olivia challenged, protective instincts already forming for the lives growing within her. "I built Wellington Technologies from nothing, Olivia. 16-hour days sacrificing everything. I'm finally reaching the summit." Harrison ran a hand through his hair, disheveling its perfect arrangement. "Children, especially 3 at once, weren't part of the plan." Tears welled in Olivia's eyes. "Plans change, Harrison. Life happens. Not my life. Not like this." His voice hardened. "I've been clear from the beginning about my priorities." The following days passed in a blur of tense conversations and stretching silences. Harrison spent more time at the office, coming home well after midnight, if at all. When he did return, his attention remained fixed on his laptop or phone, work becoming his shield against the impending reality. 1 week later, Olivia returned from a prenatal appointment to find Harrison's closet emptied, his personal items gone. On the kitchen counter sat an envelope containing a check with more zeros than she'd ever seen, alongside a cold note. "This should provide for you and the children. My lawyer will be in touch regarding arrangements. I'm sorry, but this isn't the life I can lead. H." The sterile formality of his goodbye cut deeper than any heated argument could have. Olivia sank to the floor, the sonogram images clutched in her trembling hands as sobs racked her body. The triplets, her daughters, would never know their father's embrace. That evening, as rain lashed against the windows, Olivia made a promise to herself and her unborn children. Harrison Wells had walked away, choosing his empire over family. She would build something too, a life full of love and art and strength. A life where his absence would eventually become nothing more than a footnote in their story. Little did she know that 4 years later their paths would cross again, with stakes higher than either could have imagined. Rising from ashes 4 years could change everything. Olivia Reed understood this truth more profoundly than most as she surveyed the bustling gallery space of Reed Visions, her art consultancy firm that had grown from desperate necessity into Portland's premier destination for emerging artists. "Mom, Penny took my blue marker again!" The indignant voice of Sophia, the eldest of her triplets by 7 minutes, carried across the gallery's back office. "Did not! I found it on the floor," Penny countered, her copper curls bouncing with conviction. "Girls," Olivia said, kneeling between her daughters, "remember our sharing rule? If we want something, ask nicely," recited Charlotte, the quietest of the three, without looking up from her drawing. Motherhood had been Olivia's steepest learning curve, especially with 3 identical challenges arriving simultaneously. The first year had been a blur of sleepless nights and financial anxiety. Harrison's check, substantial but not infinite, against the mounting costs of raising triplets. "Ms. Reed?" Her assistant Theo appeared in the doorway. "The Westlake Foundation curator is here for your meeting." "Thank you. I'll be right there." Olivia smoothed her navy blue dress, a far cry from the paint-splattered jeans of her former life. "Bethany will watch you girls for 30 minutes, okay? Be good." As she navigated toward the main gallery, Olivia reflected on the winding path that had led here. After Harrison's departure, she'd sold most of her paintings to cover immediate expenses, working part-time at a local gallery while her pregnancy advanced. Following the girl's birth, isolation and desperation had nearly overwhelmed her. The turning point came when a wealthy collector, Josephine Westlake, purchased one of Olivia's remaining pieces for triple its asking price. Recognizing Olivia's eye for talent beyond her own work, Josephine had offered seed money for a business venture, an art consultancy connecting promising artists with collectors seeking the next big name. Reed Visions was born from that partnership, growing from Olivia's kitchen table to this renovated warehouse in Portland's Pearl District. Now, 4 years later, the firm represented 37 artists and had placed works in collections across the country. "Ms. Westlake, wonderful to see you again," Olivia greeted the elegant woman who had changed her trajectory. "Olivia, darling, the McAllister installation is magnificent. You've outdone yourself." Josephine embraced her warmly. "And how are those gorgeous girls of yours?" "Growing too quickly and outsmarting me daily," Olivia laughed. "I can't thank you enough for believing in me when you were a single mother with triplets and a dream." "Please?" Josephine waved dismissively. "I know talent when I see it. Now I have exciting news." Her voice dropped conspiratorially. "Nexus Innovation is looking to commission pieces for their new headquarters." Olivia's heart stuttered. Nexus Innovation, Harrison's biggest competitor in the tech sector. "That's significant." "It's transformative," Josephine corrected. "Their CEO, Dominic Foster, specifically requested you oversee the project after seeing the Bainbridge Hotel installation." Later that evening, after tucking the girls into bed with 3 identical kisses and 3 different bedtime stories, Sophia's about astronauts, Penny's featuring unicorns, and Charlotte's exploring underwater kingdoms, Olivia allowed herself a moment of reflection on her balcony. The Portland skyline glittered before her, so similar to the view she'd painted that fateful morning 4 years ago. She'd come so far from the broken woman sobbing on a kitchen floor, sonogram pictures clutched in trembling hands. Her daughters had Harrison's gray eyes and analytical minds, asking why and how with insatiable curiosity. Yet they possessed her creative spirit too, their fingers constantly busy making, building, creating. They were perfect combinations of their parents, though they'd never met their father. Olivia's phone chimed with an email notification. The Nexus Innovation contract had arrived, the figure at the bottom taking her breath away. This project would secure her daughter's future education and expand Reed Visions beyond Portland. "We did it, girls," she whispered to the night air. "We didn't just survive, we thrived." She couldn't know that across town. In the penthouse office of Wellington Technologies, Harrison Wells was staring at her company profile on his computer screen, having just learned that his greatest competitor had hired the woman he'd abandoned and the children he'd never met. Hearts reconciled, autumn painted Portland's trees in fiery hues as Harrison Wells stood on the sidelines of a soccer field, cheering enthusiastically as Sophia dribbled the ball with surprising coordination for a 4-year-old. Beside him, Charlotte read a book about dinosaurs while Penny constructed an elaborate crown from fallen leaves. 6 months had passed. Since his re-entry into their lives, 6 months of gradual transformation from Mr. Harrison to simply Dad, a title he still couldn't hear without a catch in his throat. "Daddy, did you see?" Sophia called after scoring a wobbly goal, her face alight with pride. "Incredible!" Harrison applauded, amazement washing over him anew at being claimed so openly by this fearless child, by all 3 of his daughters, who had accepted him with the uncomplicated forgiveness only children can offer. Olivia arrived as practice ended, her cheeks flushed from rushing between a client meeting and pickup duty. "Sorry I'm late. The Nexus installation hit a snag." "No problem. We had it covered." Harrison helped gather scattered equipment, while the girls recounted the practice in overlapping narratives. Their co-parenting had evolved into something surprisingly functional: shared calendars, alternating pickups, collaborative decision-making. The professional relationship had flourished, too, with both the Nexus and Wellington installations garnering national attention for Reed Visions. Yet beneath this cordial surface, unresolved currents remained. Neither had addressed the weightier questions of forgiveness, trust, or the possibility of something beyond parallel parenting. Later that evening, after the girls were asleep, Harrison lingered on Olivia's porch. "There's something I need to show you," he said, uncharacteristic nervousness in his voice. "Tomorrow evening. Can Josephine watch the girls?" Curiosity overcame Olivia's hesitation. "I suppose. What is this about?" "You'll see," was all Harrison would reveal. The following evening, Harrison's car wound through Portland's outskirts, eventually turning onto a tree-lined drive leading to a sprawling craftsman house nestled among towering pines. "What is this place?" Olivia asked as they parked. "My new home." Harrison led her inside, where moving boxes still outnumbered furniture pieces. "I'm leaving the penthouse." The house revealed thoughtful preparation, a spacious kitchen opening to a family room, a dedicated art studio with perfect northern light, and upstairs, 3 bedrooms decorated in the girls' favorite colors, with reading nooks and creative spaces tailored to their individual interests. "You're moving out of the city?" Olivia processed the implications. "Away from Wellington headquarters?" Harrison nodded. "I've restructured the company. Promoted Elliot to COO. He'll handle daily operations while I focus on development strategy." He hesitated before adding, "This location cuts my commute to their school in half." Olivia wandered into the studio space, running her fingers over the professional-grade easel. "You did all this for weekend visits?" "I did this because 4 years ago I made the worst mistake of my life." Harrison's voice cracked with rare emotion. "I chose control over courage, security over love. Every day since you walked into my office with that photo of 3 little girls with my eyes, I've been trying to understand how I could have been so blind." He approached slowly, giving her space to retreat if needed. "The empire I couldn't risk? It means nothing compared to what I walked away from. I know I don't deserve forgiveness or a second chance, but I want you to know I'm committed to our daughters regardless of what happens. Between us," Olivia studied the man before her, so different from the controlled executive who had coldly calculated the cost of fatherhood and found it too high. "You've changed," she acknowledged quietly. "I had to," Harrison replied simply. "They changed me." "You changed me." "And if I can't trust you with my heart again, then I'll be the best co-parent possible. I'll never disappear from their lives again, no matter what." The conviction in his voice resonated with truth. This wasn't manipulation or strategy. This was vulnerability from a man who had rebuilt his entire life around the family he once abandoned. "The girls need stability," Olivia said carefully. "Whatever happens between us affects them." "I know." Harrison took a chance, reaching for her hand. Which is why I'm asking for time, not promises. Dinners sometimes, family outings where we're not just coordinating logistics. A chance to know each other again, the people we've become, not just who we were. Olivia didn't pull away. I can't guarantee where that leads. I'm not asking for guarantees, just possibility. As they stood in the room he had created for her art, a space that honored who she was independently of motherhood or their shared past. Olivia felt the walls she'd built around her heart shift ever so. Slightly, possibility, she repeated, a small smile forming. I think I can work with that. Outside the window, autumn leaves danced on the evening breeze, their transformation from green to gold mirroring the journey from abandonment to forgiveness, from broken trust to tentative hope. Like the seasons, people could change, not overnight, but gradually, with patience and determination. For Olivia Reed and Harrison Wells, their story hadn't ended that rainy night 4 years ago. It had merely paused, waiting for growth, waiting for wisdom, waiting for the courage to try again with open eyes and humble hearts, and in a house built for future memories, surrounded by evidence of commitment rather than mere promises. Possibility bloomed between them, fragile, precious, and real,